Have you ever wondered how to score big on Toy Story Midway Mania, or how to get the best view in Soarin', or even which rides are better at night? Well, we've got the answers for you today on DFV Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. This is a really fun one. We are going to talk about ride hacks in Disney World that you need to know. So let's get started because there's 20 of them. There's a whole bunch of information you've got to know before your next trip. Oh, and if you actually want all of these in a PDF so you don't have to write it all down, go ahead and head over to disneyfoodblog.com/ridehacks, RIDEHACKS. And we will get that for you. Just sign up for our free newsletter and we can get you the PDF right away so you don't have to write all of this down. All right, here we go. First one, rider switch. Now this one is great for parents if you've got older and younger kids who hit different height requirements. And what this basically is a way for two caretakers to switch out riding so someone can always stay with the person who's being cared for. So here's how it works. You request a rider switch from the cast member at the entrance to the attraction you're looking to ride. Now, one caretaker can ride while the other waits with the younger kids or the person being cared for, and then you switch and the other caretaker, and usually up to 3 guests, get to ride right after without waiting in line again. So with this one, you can really actually double up your rides. If the first group has a fast pass for the attraction you're using rider switch for, and then the second group can ride with no wait or go through the fast pass line as well. Now that last one is usually at the discretion of the cast members at the entrance, as the thought behind rider switch is that at least one group does the actual waiting. So the fast pass double up is really more likely to work on something like Barnstormer than Flight of Passage. Because you don't want to cheat the system, someone's got to wait. Next up, the best view in Soarin'. So the screen is domed or curved to help create the illusion that you're really there without the use of 3D when you ride Soarin' Over the World, which is in the Land Pavilion in Epcot in Disney World. And it's also in Disneyland at Disney California Adventure. So if you end up off to the sides of the theater, you might end up with a weird warped view where the Taj Mahal and Eiffel Tower kind of bend when you're looking at them. So when you're in line, request Concourse B for the best Soarin' views. That's right there in the middle of the theater, so you're going to get the least distorted views of the Soarin' film. And also, I always say to request first row if you don't want feet in your face, and request second row if you want the least distorted view, again, of the film in front of you. Next ride hack, how to get a wilder ride. So you're always going to have a faster or wilder ride if you sit in the back for things like roller coasters like Big Thunder Mountain, Slinky Dog Dash, and Expedition Everest. So if you're with a little one who's just starting out on roller coasters, request a seat in the front because that will be a smoother ride and a slower ride than what you have in the back, which is going to kind of jerk you around a little bit more and definitely feel faster and wilder. And also, the best spots on Rock and Roller Coaster are on the front or the back to really feel the slingshot. They feel completely different. All right, so what's the best time for a safari over there in Animal Kingdom? So Kilimanjaro Safaris is going to be a better experience when it's cooler, aka not in the middle of the day when it's super, super hot. When it's cooler, morning and evening, you're more likely to see more animals on the safari. They're out often in the morning and around dusk, but different animals prefer different times of day, so you'll see something different if you ride it first thing in the morning or just before dinner. Now, a lot of animals do like to run around in the rain, so this is a great attraction to try if you're having a rainy park day as well. All right, let's talk about last minute fast passes. We've talked about this on the channel before, but you definitely can get those last minute fast passes. What you need to do is pull it up on your phone on your My Disney Experience app and always be refreshing that fast pass screen. What I kind of like to do is choose different times within about 30 minutes of each other and keep refreshing and see if anything else pops up. And I promise from time to time, those last minute Slinky Dog Dash and Flight of Passage fast passes will appear. Now, people are changing plans all the time, and hopefully if someone is going to miss their fast pass window, they cancel that reservation to free it up for someone else. Hint, hint. If you guys are going to miss your fast pass window, please cancel your reservation so someone else might get the chance to ride. All right, let's talk about disability access. So guides for navigating the parks with disabilities can be found at guest relations or downloaded ahead of time. And Disney makes accommodations for those with mobility concerns, cognitive and hearing disabilities, as well as those with sensitivity to light. Disability access service is available to guests whose disability prevents them from waiting in a conventional queue environment. It's not for guests whose disability requires them to use a wheelchair or scooter. But you can find out more and register for this service if you have a family member who qualifies at guest relations. All right, the single rider line. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people actually don't know about it or know how to use it. So if you're on a solo Disney trip or you're traveling with a group who doesn't mind riding some thrill rides separately, you'll want to take advantage of a single rider line. These are offered at Test Track, Expedition Everest, and Rock and Roller Coaster, and waits can be similar or even shorter than FastPass lines. So usually you'll be able to see a little clock that'll tell you how long the single rider line is. And you get to wait in line with your party. You don't have to worry about separating from them right there during the line. You'll separate from them when you get on the actual attraction. So the only thing you're not doing with the rest of your party is riding the actual ride. And to be honest, sometimes you end up in the same car as they are anyway. So single rider, usually a good bonus ride hack if it's not the end of the world if you don't ride next to your touring partner for the day. Now, when should you ride to avoid lines? You guys know this is one of our favorite topics. You'll get on a lot more rides in the very first hour and the very last hour of park hours than during the middle of the day when everyone and their family are there. So while we don't always necessarily say you have to do rope drop, there's a lot of reasons not to do rope drop. If you want to ride a whole bunch of rides, rope drop is probably your best bet. You can also ride during shows, parades, or fireworks. When everybody else is watching that stuff, you're gonna find shorter lines. Now, also remember there's the option to do after hours or early morning magic. These are extra charge ticketed events at the beginning of the day and the end of the day at select parks and on select days. And I want to stress that. I think we talk about these a lot, but we don't note that they're just specific days that it happens. It's not every single day that you can do after hours or early morning magic. So you've got to look on the website before you go and book those tickets ahead of time because they do sell out. So if you really want to get a jump on the lines and don't mind paying for that perk, these hard ticketed events basically guarantee you a fast pass for every attraction that's open during those events because those lines end up being super short. Now you don't get an actual physical fast pass, but it feels like it because those lines are shorter. Now this can be very pricey, especially if you're traveling with a large group because the tickets for these things are upwards of $100. But if you're on a short trip or really hate waiting in lines, this can definitely be the way to go. And always don't forget extra magic hours if you're staying in a Disney World resort are always helpful if you don't want to pay extra. Just get there early or stay really late. And of course, extra magic hours are the free perk or benefit for people staying in a Disney resort hotel where you can get into the park an hour earlier than everyone else or stay a couple hours later. So let's talk about rides that are better at night. Some rides are just more fun or thrilling at night. These include often those outdoor roller coasters. So Big Thunder Mountain seems a lot more exciting at night, and during the day you can see everywhere you're going, but at night it's more of a thrill ride. Same thing for Slinky Dog Dash. Plus the lights in Toy Story Land really change the atmosphere of that attraction. Astro Orbiter during the fireworks is really hard to time out well, but it's amazing if you do, and that of course is that spinning ride on top of Lunching Pad over in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom. So just set your rocket to the highest point and watch those fireworks. You might have to turn your head a bit to catch it all. Now, this is a great ride hack that everyone can use, getting in line at park close. If you've jumped in line just before park close, you'll be getting on that ride. Oftentimes at the end of the night, especially, wait times are exaggerated. So not only will you get to ride Mine Train if you hop in line 5 minutes before park close, but the wait might not actually be as long as posted. Speaking of lines, use those lines to your advantage. Sometimes the long lines are okay if it means you get to seek some shelter from the sun or the rain. The Soarin line is fine if it's raining or too hot because you get to take in some of that AC. And think twice about the long outdoor lines in the middle of the day. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad gets really stuffy even with those fans in the queue. So what to do when things break down? Here's a couple of hacks for that. Some rides are kind of fun to get stuck on, and if you're someone who loves behind-the-scenes Disney stuff, it gives you a chance to really take things in and search for some hidden Mickeys or other Imagineering additions you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. But if a ride breaks down while you're on it, or if it happens during your FastPass window, you'll likely be given a FastPass for another attraction in the park. That will load directly onto your My Disney experience. You'll see a little FastPass on there that says it's a FastPass for any ride. rides. You can basically go on any ride at that point. That offers FastPass, though sometimes it excludes some of those big ticket rides, unless that's the one you actually broke down on. Now, what to do when your favorite ride or must-do ride is down for refurb during your trip? Well, this one's hard. First of all, avoid this problem altogether by checking those refurb schedules online so you know what's down or what's going down for refurb soon. And then if your favorite ride is closed and you didn't know it was going to close, look for similar attractions elsewhere in the park. Like if Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is down, Mine Train is a fairly similar ride, and that one will likely not have a lengthy refurb unless absolutely necessary. It's too popular and new. If the Seas with Nemo and Friends at Epcot is down, you can go on Journey of the Little Mermaid in Magic Kingdom and vice versa. Both of these will fill your under the sea quota. And if Small World is getting some work done, you can always head to the Grand Fiesta Tour in the Mexico Pavilion for some classic Disney boat ride action. Now remember, January gets cold in Orlando, so water rides are usually going to be closed during the winter. So that's when Splash Mountain, Kali River Rapids, and the water parks go down for refurb. So Dumbo versus Magic Carpets versus Triceratops Spin. If you've got a kiddo who has to ride Dumbo, here's a little ride hack for you. They are all the same. Little kids won't know the difference, and adults probably won't care. These are the same rides. So if Dumbo is down for refurb, or if you can't get on Dumbo, or if the line's too long, go ride the Magic Carpets of Aladdin or Triceratops Spin. Those are gonna have much shorter lines most likely. Now here's a great ride hack, how to introduce kiddos to coasters. If you have a kid who's ready to start testing out thrill rides, we recommend taking them in this order in Disney World. Barnstormer in Magic Kingdom, Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios, Mine Train in Magic Kingdom, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Magic Kingdom, and then you're worked up to Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster at that point. So if Barnstormer works well, have them watch Slinky Dog and see if they want to ride that, and then have them watch Mine Train and see if they want to ride that, and go forward. Always check in with your kid and don't push them to ride anything they don't want to. Believe me, my poor little guy rode Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and basically swore off rides for the next 3 years. So don't do that to your kid. I'm telling you from experience, you'll never be able to ride anything fun with them again if you do that. And that's what Rider Switch is for. Just go ahead and use Rider Switch. So here are some ride hacks and tips for motion sickness or fear of heights. If you're concerned about motion sickness, there's a few rides you'll want to avoid or at least be aware of. So 3D and simulator rides like Flight of Passage, Star Tours, and Mission Space, although the green side of Mission Space is a lot tamer than the orange side, you'll still want to be cautious if you have issues with tight spaces or claustrophobia, and if you're worried about motion sickness. Other rides that are going to cause problems with motion sickness, jerky rides like Dinosaur over there in Animal Kingdom, and spinning rides like Primeval Whirl in Animal Kingdom and Mad Tea Party in Magic Kingdom will probably cause you some problems. Now you can always choose not to spin your teacup and you'll only have the motion of the ride, but still know your limits. Now if you have a fear of heights, use caution around Flight of Passage in Animal Kingdom, Soarin in Epcot, and Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios, along with most of those coasters. You won't really have to worry about Space Mountain though, because you really can't see anything in there. Now, what to do with your bags? Everybody's got bags in Disney World, so where do you put them? They don't have lockers there at the rides the way they do at Universal Studios. So most rides do have somewhere you can keep your belongings during the ride, but what if you've got a big giant backpack that doesn't fit into that tiny bag holder? At Soarin, you can just leave your backpack or loose-fitting shoes on the ground. There's a little taped-off area on the floor for oversized bags, and a cast member will help you out. In those roller coasters, you can always loop a backpack strap around your knee if the pocket is too small for your bag. We've never had a problem with things flying. Just make sure to keep pockets zippered and important things like your phone secured. Get a locker if you're planning on several thrill rides in a row or water rides where your things might get really wet. You'll find lockers at the entrance to the parks as well as near water rides like Kali River Rapids, but they do cost money, so prepare for that. And as always, make sure that loose items like hats and sunglasses are in zippered compartments on faster upside down rides and in a Ziploc bag on those water rides like Splash Mountain or Kali if you don't put your stuff in a locker. Number 19, how to get a high score on Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. This is an attraction in Magic Kingdom, and you definitely want to max out your points here. So use that joystick to pivot your vehicle so that you can see all of the targets. And in the first room, you're going to encounter a big robot. Aim for the target on the inside of the arms to rack up 100,000 points. And over on Zurg's ship, there's a target at the bottom that will net you 25,000 points. And when you're traveling through that star tunnel, try to hit the body of the spaceship that's flying around for another another 100,000 points. There's some little tips to help you max out your score. It's not all the tips. We should probably do a video sometime with all those Buzz Lightyear tips, but these ones will definitely help you. Now here are some fun Easter eggs and high scores on Toy Story Mania over there in Disney's Hollywood Studios. There's a few Easter eggs in this ride that can maximize your scoring potential and maybe even get you on that leaderboard at the end of the ride. In the first scene with the barn, keep an eye out for mice running up the side of the barn and aim for them. If you hit them all, something special will happen. Also, knock the fox off the hen house and be ready to shoot some high-scoring hens. If you can ring all of the little green men at the same time, you'll probably have to work with your ride partner for this one. You'll transform that scene to a robot who opens his mouth for you to shoot as many rings as possible for 1,000 and 2,000 points each. So again, not all the tips for Toy Story Mania, but a couple of them that will help you out. So there are 20 fun ride hacks that we really wanted to share with you, especially if you're headed to Disney World soon this summer or this coming holiday season. And don't forget, if you want all of these in a PDF, head over to disneyfoodblog.com/ride hacks and join our free newsletter, and we will get you that PDF so you can bring it with you and plan ahead. So let us know in the comments, what are your favorite ride hacks? What are some things you've learned when you've been in the parks? We can't wait to learn from you guys too. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.